Hello everyone, thanks for joining. So this locomotive here is a Piko Czech Republic CSD ES499 electric locomotive. It is one that I've done a review of before on this channel, but not this particular one. I actually had two of these, and this one I've sold on eBay and it went to its new owner. Unfortunately, when it arrived, it wasn't working, although it was actually working before I sold it. The only clue as to what might have happened is this small piece of metal here, which has come away from the model, and I think it's another victim of a courier company throwing things around en route. The buyer was kind enough to send this back to give me a chance to try and get this fixed up and working for him. So in this video we're going to open this up and try and do a repair and see if we can get this running again. So that actually was quite easy to get this model apart. Normally this is real pain to separate the body from the chassis, but I just managed to pull it apart quite easily this time around, so I'm quite lucky there. On the inside of the body shell I can actually see here where this piece fits in. If you look on this side you can see that it has a little tab in the middle of the metal piece there. And on this side it seems to have broken off. Now I've no idea how that managed to do that en route because it's well tucked inside this model. It does have the provision to pick up from overhead 10 ray, and this model has in the past done that because you can see that there has been some rubbing along the top of the pantograph there, so it has had pick up from above. We also have a little bash on the roof here where this piece has come away from there, so I'll fix that as well and straighten this up in a little bit. But for now let's put this body aside and focus on the chassis. So nothing obviously wrong at the moment, so let's put this onto a piece of test track and just see what's happening. So this is just some old Hornby track and I'm using my H&M controller to give this 12 volts DC. So let's see what happens when we give it some power. Well, absolutely nothing on the first test, but I do see that the little switch here is set to overhead pickup. So I'm just going to flip that across to 2-rail pickup and see what happens. Okay, so one of the bulbs worked on this end, but not on the other end. But I do remember that this model does actually have really bad pickups. It's got this part here which just rubs against the chassis. You can see on this side it actually makes contact, but this side it seems to have come away. But let's see if we can get the motor running just by putting some power directly to it. Okay, so my theory is then that this is just not making contact. If you press it down, it actually does contact, so I think it just needs a little something inside there just to put a bit of pressure onto it. If we look on the inside of the bogie frame here, you can see there's a bit of a hole there. So I think if we put something in here, presses against here, maybe that might just solve it. Okay, so that didn't work. It's still not making contact, it's definitely this side here. So I think what I'm going to do is just run a little cable from here up to this point here, give it a bit of a better connection. That should be covered by the body, so you shouldn't be able to see it afterwards. So that's the next step. So I've just put a piece of wire here, it's just 5 amp fuse wire, just to check whether this is actually the problem and if it's going to work. And it does actually work. So I'm just going to tidy this up and solder it on. Well, that's great news, we've got this model working again. I did actually run another little line from the drive bogie up onto the chassis as well, again just with 5 amp fuse wire, and that seems to have made a securer connection overall. But this model does have absolutely terrible connections straight from the factory. I guess it's just a product of its time. The little piece of metal that we had as well, which has fallen off from the inside of the body shell, it's not going to affect things on 2-rail operation, but it might if this is switched to overhead electrics. But at least overall we've got this up and running again. So I hope the owner is happy with these repairs that I've done to this model. I know you're going to be watching this, so fingers crossed. I'm ready to send this back to you, so when you let me know you're happy, I'll get this back in the post to you. And thanks everyone for watching this repair video. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. I'll put this on the turntable so you can see all the way around. That's it for this video. See you on the next one.